So does anybody know about the Apollo missions?
No.
So that's what we're going to go over today.
I know a little bit about Apollo missions.
Do you know which was the first to land on the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, and do you know what mission he was part of?
No. 11? Okay, then talk about him.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to look at some of this, and then when we're done, you can look at these, and then I'm going to do a little thing with this.
What's that
So-
green thing with the wedding?
Okay, I'll get to that. So, I'm Eli, and this is my assistant, Pengy.
Which he's turning 9 today.
Yes. And, okay, so the Apollo missions. The Apollo missions were from between 1961 and 1972. They were one of the greatest advancements in scientific history because it was the first manned moon landing that went well.
Who's that space guy?
That's called an astronaut.
And
Pretty sure that's from Apollo
name.
16 or 17.
Do you know
And
his name?
what? No, I don't know his name. And then I'll show you this. Have you ever heard of Buzz Aldrin?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Tessa, can you tell me what he is?
He's an astronaut who was on Apollo.
Yeah.
He was,
And Emmy?
he was like this second one to step up to walk on the.
Yes. And you know who the first one was?
Neil Armstrong.
And raise your hand if you know who the third guy was, piloting the command module. His name was Mike Collins.
Oh right, I couldn't. I knew
Michael
it.
Collins.
Darn, it
Michael
wasn't that.
Collins.
I knew
So, do you know how, like, when you think of it, you're like, oh, wow, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, they did awesome. They were on the moon. It was actually, Michael Collins' job was the most important.
Yeah.
He had to circle the moon, and at just the right moment, give a little stop for a second to let the Eagle, which was the part that landed on the moon, reattach to the command module. You see, if he would have overshot or even undershot, the astronauts might have been stranded on the moon and wouldn't be able to come back.
Couldn't another spaceship come pick him up?
Well, it would take a while to build one because when they blast off, so this is what it looks like, right? They've got these boosters on the bottom. It fires it off. Once they get to the top, sections start to break off and fall into the Pacific Ocean.
Why do they fall? So that it's later and it can go into space.
Well,
So it
Yeah.
doesn't like weigh itself down and just fall. It's
Uh-huh.
into the
So,
Pacific Ocean.
yeah, that's right. So each section has rockets.
Mhm.
When each section uses up its fuel, it
falls
drops
off.
away because all that dead weight, it might actually crash in the moon and destroy the spaceship, let alone the astronauts inside it. Yes?
Do people still go to the moon?
Um,
It's not like really.
no, they haven't. The last Apollo mission was Apollo 17. They blasted off in 1972. And that was the last one that came there. And then, so Apollo 1.
Do they still
Anybody
have-
know what happened during Apollo 1?
No. They didn't land.
What?
Like they didn't land safely, really. Or
No. So what happened was, they were practicing, doing a bunch of tests, making sure the astronauts were ready. They were up in the spaceship. Something caught fire. You would imagine what a giant thing of fuel would do in the spark.
It just blew.
It blew up with the astronauts inside it.
Did they die?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, didn't they have a picture of 3 astronauts that died?
Yeah. Their names were Virgil Gus Grissom. It's in here somewhere. And
Could I get my folder from the start?
I don't mind. It's dirty.
Okay.
Okay, so well here. So
I have some information on the card.
yeah, I know.
Go to because I always.
So the
I wrote
first
an index card.
so the
that's literally
first-
full of notes I took last astronomy class.
Oh, wow.
So the first the first American. Anybody know the first American person to get into space?
No.
His name was Alan Shepard,
Yeah, I have this on my card.
and he was the first person in space. Do you know who the first person to orbit the Earth was?
No.
He was also American. Tessa?
Mike Collins.
No, he orbited the moon,
Oh,
and he was not the first.
not even close.
His name was John Glenn, and he also. And then the other one was another one that went first astronaut in space. Who knows it? Raise your hand if you do.
Neil Armstrong.
No?
Yuri Gagarin.
Yes, he was Russian. And who? Did anybody know who the first woman in space was?
No.
She was Russian. So we have this here. Anybody know what this is called?
Yes, a spaceship.
No. Do you know what this?
Rocket.
No. Hold on. The specific name for it, Emmy.
I know the space shuttle.
It is the space shuttle. So what this is this is actually called. Your Force. Can you say it out loud for me?
One.
No.
I forget. Look, the words are too small. Can I see?
Say it.
Endeavor.
Okay, so this is called a space shuttle. The specific one is called the Endeavour. And does anybody know what the name of the company who built this is? Starts with an N.
New York.
No.
But that does start with an F.
Is it an acronym?
Yes, it's an acronym, but you just need to give me the acronym. I'll give you a hint. It's right here on the wing.
NASA.
Mm-hmm. Stands for National Space. No, hold. National Aeronautics Space Administration. I know it is.
And what is administration?
What?
What is administration?
Administration?
It's like, it's just it's a governmental company. The government runs it. Called the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
What was the first plane to be built?
The first plane?
We're talking about space.
The first plane to be built was the Wright Flyer.
But that didn't go into space. That just wasn't like.
No. Oh, but I'll give you an interesting fact, Tessa. The Apollo 11 astronauts actually took a piece of cloth and a piece of wood from the Wright Flyer on their way to the moon.
How?
How? They put it in the spaceship. Their shuttle.
How do they take it off of a plane?
It wasn't really
It wasn't attached, probably.
No, it wasn't attached.
It wasn't like the big planes we have now.
No, it was like a cloth and wood thing. So that, and then so the way this thing takes off kind of looks like a plane, right?
Yeah.
And how do planes take off?
They go on a runway.
Yeah. Well, this actually sits like this.
It's weird.
I know.
So they're like,
So they blast it off. It orbits,
and then it comes back down.
and then it
like a
comes
little
back down
runway.
like this. And to slow it down, you've got a little parachute. Show you how that happens.
So that they can slow it down.
Like this.
Can I show how?
Here, I'm going to show you a quick video of how that works.